What's up? Oh, snap. There's different kinds of governments. We live in a federalist government. The United States is a federalist government. That means that the states and the federal government have equal power. In a confederate government, that's when the states have all the power. They have more power than the federal government. And in a unitary government, that's when the federal government has all the power over the states. You can find different examples of those. I think Argentina has a federalist government. The South of the United States wanted to have a confederate government where the states would be over the federal government, but that didn't work out. There's a country in South America that has a unitary government where the federal government rules over all the states, all the regions. And so things work different. But here in the United States, we also have something called due process. You can't just have mob rule and someone decide to execute somebody without due process. That's why they have juries. That's why the police and all this kind of stuff. And in the United States, the police did not come from slave catchers or whatever it is that people have been saying. The form of policing that we have here in the United States comes from Europe, comes from Britain. Ever since the beginning of time, what's that? Someone trying to call me? Since the beginning of time, people have had houses, had fences, walls to keep in their livestock, to keep in their property. When people started forming around cities and stuff, people would come out with pots and pans whenever there'd be like a thief or somebody stealing. And it also became a way to alert people with the pots and pans. And also because of like the fires and stuff, people had to organize. That's why policing came about. But here in the United States, they'll try to tell you. Some people try to tell you, some crazy people try to tell you, give you all these crazy things to think about, things to talk about. Blue pill, red pill, left wing, right wing, capitalist, communist. Well, they all have their different points of views. I'm still sick from since Monday. I took the day off yesterday. It was September 11th. And I'm glad I did too. I slept in, got some rest. I'm almost over this cold. My head's still stuffy. My nose is still stuffy. Still seeing stuff from this Charlie Kirk stuff. And I'm seeing like different points of views. It's good. I don't care if you're a hater. I don't care if you're not a hater. Do I care? It doesn't really affect me. I'm just paying attention, really. I'm not trying to stoke no fire, stoke no internet stuff. Just have a little conversation about some of this stuff. Because this is what America's about, being able to talk about stuff, right? Because here in the United States, we also have like the Constitution, the freedom of speech. Not every country has this freedom of speech. Like if you go to Britain, they don't have the freedom of speech. Not over there. Like they don't have it in like South America and other countries. Nah, they have laws against like hate speech, and hate speech is not even real. You can debate that all you want. Anything can be debated in a court of law. What is real hate speech? Like the hate speech that people talk about here in the United States, that ain't even hate speech. The hate speech that people talk about, like that ain't even hate speech, man. Just because you got a difference, you saying something that someone doesn't like. There's speech against stuff like screaming fire in a movie theater, causing panic. That's the kind of speech that there's like rules against. But yeah. So to just pick up a rifle and to execute somebody, when they didn't commit a crime, the police didn't pick up Charlie Kirk for any crime and stuff, and some crazy dude. I told you he was gonna get caught. Even if he would have got on an airplane and went somewhere, Interpol would have picked him up. That's what I'm saying. Like this, the devil's working overtime on these people's minds, on everyone's minds, mine too. Trying to get into me, trying to tap into my head, trying to tap into my skull with doubt, self-hate, all this stuff. I'm not any better than anyone else that I'm talking to right now. Anybody else watching this, I'm not better than you. I might be older than you or younger. But nah, man, I know, because like I used to be lost. I used to have the demons talking to me figuratively, just lost in some like fantasies, thinking about violent ass thoughts and things like that, imaginations in the head. Thankfully I got rid of those. And I grew up too, man. My dad was in the military, and he whooped my butt one time, and then he left my mother, so I had a lot of hate towards him. Then I had a lot of hate towards the United States, and I started reading a lot of like revolutionary left-wing propaganda when I was real young, like 14, 15, and I got real into it, like, yeah, F America, it's all a bunch of BS. And shoot, when I got older, I got in fights with cops, with police officers. I got my ass kicked by some cops one time, and was drinking, smoking, B&E, larceny, went to jail. Wasn't in no gangs and stuff. And later on after that, like even when I was like my lawyer, I had like a court-appointed lawyer. I was like, just tell him I didn't do it. I was still on like this victim mentality. I still had that victim mentality and stuff, and it took years to weed it out, and it still it's even when I thought I had it all weeded out, it still took even longer than that. Later on, I figured, you know what, it was my fault. Like the time I got arrested and like got my ass kicked by the cops, that was my fault. I was hanging out with my girlfriend, then I got a page from my homeboys. They were out drinking somewhere. Well, I left her. I should have stayed with her, or I should have went home. But I went out drinking with them late night. They were causing. It wasn't even me, because I'm not like really the troublemaker. I never was really like the one to draw attention. But it's what happens sometimes. You're hanging out with the wrong people that are drawing attention, on whether it's on purpose or like they just can't handle themselves, because like we were so young and emotionally immature, and that's what a lot of this stuff is, man. Being emotionally immature. Seen that a lot online. People expressing their feelings about like this guy getting killed, being assassinated on live TV or live internet, replaying it. Like, oh look, I got the little clip. I got a little clip of Charlie Kirk getting, you know, I got the Deadshot clip, you know, like whatever. Let's trade him like little Pokemon cards. Ha ha ha. But they never seen no one like really. I mean, people at that place, there was people throwing up after they saw that in real life. And like I was talking about in the last couple videos, man, people see that stuff in real life, man. And I don't know why, like, let's talk about like the Chicago and the revolutions and stuff. I'm not talking junk about anyone from Chicago, anyone in gangs, nothing like that, or anyone in the National Guard. But I'm just saying, think about this stuff, because I spent a lot of time with this communist revolutionary mentality until finally one day when I got way older, one day my dad told me, he was like, well, because I used to study like, oh, the Illuminati, the Bilderberg Group, the Council of 300, how they're getting over on us, the police brutality. And one day my dad said, why don't, instead of like studying about like the Illuminati, why don't you like study how to make your life better, a little bit better every day? And I was like, he planted a seed, because I was still a jackass. My girlfriend was a communist. She had indoctrinated me into the whole thing. And I was like, yeah, the patriarchy, yeah, that makes sense. No, it don't make sense. Going against the patriarchy. Man, my dad wasn't even around. Talking about like the patriarchy, like ain't no patriarchy over here running nothing. Like, running the world, running like, I mean, I don't know about the world and stuff, but we talk about that in some other level. But just going back to all this stuff, blue pill, red pill. Yeah, I was indoctrinated too. Later on, I found out, okay, like, oh, he's talking about the revolution. So the thing about the revolution ain't do nothing for me. The revolution did do nothing for me. All it was a big waste of time. I fought with the cops. I did stuff. I was thinking about that stuff, like, for real. But instead of like going to class, I couldn't. But I was young, a lot of testosterone. Couldn't sit down in class. I was drinking a lot. I couldn't sit down, do no math. Couldn't sit down. It's type of like young adult I was. Want to be out like just working and then chasing, then drinking, chasing chicks and stuff. But that was all just a waste of time, man. I'm telling you, it was all a waste of time. Now that I'm older, I see the mistakes now a lot more clearly. Hindsight 2020, 2020 vision, hindsight. It's a lot more clear. I should have been, like my dad said, working on some skills, some job skills, electrician, plumber. There's all these jobs and that stuff, and plus you want to get into that stuff when you're younger than I am right now. But back to the revolution, man. Do you want to live in a revolution? Do you know what that means? I mean, do you got, like, think about the ammo. I mean, I don't even think of that. The guns, that's what people want to think. That's how I was. The Che Guevara, the red shirt, Che Guevara. It's like this romantic idealization of like this figure who Che Guevara was. And he, man, if you really dig into it, man, he wasn't like all that. It's just like this romantic figure, like this icon that people look at, man. People got it all twisted. We got history all twisted and messed up. Imagine like you're out fighting somewhere, man, you get shot. You want to get shot? Like you get shot just in the foot. Or in the leg. Something that's not even vital. Man, you're out. Now imagine you're in a street gang and you get shot. You get shot somewhere. Are your friends gonna pick you up, or your friends or your cronies or your comrades or the people in your gang? Are they gonna pick you up? Do they carry bandages? Are they gonna give you mouth-to-mouth resuscitation? Are they gonna take their shirt off and stop the bleeding? Are they gonna call 911? Are they gonna call, help, or take you somewhere, take you to the hospital? Like it's all the fun and games is over. It's all over, man, when like the real stuff happens, man. Like I was saying in one of the last videos, two teenagers jumped this other teenager. They shanked him up a little bit, caught him in the legs. Probably didn't think it was like a bad idea, not really vital. But it was vital because they shanked him in a vital artery in his thigh. Main artery. Dude bled out and passed away. Mom turned them both her kids in. Because that's just right. They shouldn't have took it that far. And it was something that you don't think about. Happened so fast. Didn't think, oh, well, I'm not stabbing him in the chest, in the face, in the mouth, in the heart. Accidents happen, man, when you start fighting and you're playing, you get too angry. So I'm saying, man, people got to get a control of their emotions. You're living in a revolution, man. What happens if the water gets turned off? What if the food chain supply gets turned off? The water supply gets turned off, we're effed. Where are you going to get water from? Clean drinking water. Where you get clean drinking water from? Get to boil some water. What if there's no electricity? Things blowing up. Maybe I'm talking all this stuff. You think I'm an idiot or I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, I do support people. I support everybody. I support humans. Being a Christian, I support Gaza too. Not like, oh, F these Arabs, and I might have used to be like that, but I've grown. That's the thing, man. People grow, man. People change. Man, I used to be like, man, bro, I used to be like the F the cops, F this country. Get older and you see the young kids making mistakes, growing up the same way I did, kind of be like, dang, like, man, you ain't gotta go through all that. Why don't you go this other way? But I know how hard it is to talk to somebody, because left and right. I know how hard it is. It's two different ways of thinking. I had that mentality. And it took a leap of faith to jump. And it took a while, man. Remember one time I asked this guy in the special forces, I told him about how my ex-girlfriend was a communist, and she had indoctrinated me, and she was always telling me like, man, I can't wait till like one day I don't have to work. Basically, she wanted me to take care of her. And then I was like, it never made sense, because she was always so spiritual. She's always very spiritual. She wasn't Christian. And this is before I just became Christian like in the past 2 years. It all makes sense now that I've read the book. It all makes sense. But I was like, it doesn't make sense, because she wasn't Christian. She was a communist, atheist. She didn't believe in God, anything like that. And that time I was like agnostic. I was just whatever. He's like, it makes perfect sense. He's like, communists want to take what you have. They don't want to work for the stuff that they have. It makes perfect sense. She doesn't want to work. Can't wait till like someone can take care of her. She was hot though. She was real hot. But that's one criticism I will say about gangsters. They're like communists too. That's what communists do. Communists are like gangsters, and gangsters are like communists. Because they'll post up on your block, they'll squat, and they'll basically just take over whatever you got. Take over your house. They'll do that. They do that stuff in other countries, man. They don't do it here in America, because people don't know what like real communism is. Like, that's how I was. I was from America, went to South America, and then here in the United States, we hear about these things. We don't really have them. But over there, you got people that are really about it, people that are organized. You got real black bloc anarchists, kids that are like, there's just so many kids, man. There's so many youth. And they do have like more oppression, or their futures have been sold out. So it's just what people do. People get mental, people lose control of their emotions, don't see no other way, and they start snapping. They start building Molotov cocktails and throwing them at the police and stuff. Or they start organizing, like, man, like, yeah, that's like when Charlie Kirk got shot. It wasn't a terrorist group, because a terrorist group would have made an announcement. They would have claimed, yeah, we did it. They would have made claims and say, yeah, we want this and this to happen, or this is why we did it. They would have made a manifesto known or something like that. These kids right now, I think they're lost and misled, and have like the devil in their minds. Like it says in the scriptures, that intrusive thoughts. The devil rules the world. God still God's, but the devil's roaming over it. The devil's the prince of this world. And his demons, they're all around. The fallen Nephilim, the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim. It all makes sense now. And I know like Christians ain't done a good job, because that's why I was raised in the church too, man. I left too, because I was just like, so like, oh man, like, just get out of my face with this stuff, because it wasn't what I needed at the moment, because I was a teenager and I didn't have my father. I'm being real. Luckily my mom had me in like extracurricular activities. Like, I had to go to the teen center after school and do my homework, and soccer practice, and then church on Sunday, and then Boy Scouts. So I learned life-saving skills, which a lot of these kids don't have nowadays. And we got to go outside, we got to go camping, and now those are the things that give me peace in my life, because I don't really have like any family nearby and stuff. And I'd be alone. But now I have God. Reading the scriptures gave me a whole new order, hierarchy of order of operation. Before I thought I was doing all right, and I would say like these kids, probably lost like these kids, like I thought I was doing all right, but I really wasn't. I was still lost because I just didn't have God, man, and I was lost. I would vent to other people my problems, kind of like I'm venting right now. But I'm doing this for a reason, for a purpose. Instead of talking to God about it, instead of praying and talking to God, I'd probably vent to other people, and they'd probably, you think it's good and you're bouncing your ideas off other people. But really, man, you ain't got to really do all that. Because everyone else has their own. They're just as lost as like anyone else, man. No one knows what they're doing here on this earth, except unless they've found the way through Jesus Christ. But, because you can say you have God, but if you don't have Christ, you don't have God. It is what it is. Got about 10 minutes left on this video. Yes, that's the revolution, man. Like, you get shot, like, and people talking about like Chicago in the military, like fighting the military. I don't think nothing's gonna happen like that, man. Come on, be real, man. Like, just people shouldn't be. Not that people won't fight. Maybe some dumb shit happen, but like, and if it does, oh well. I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved in no race war, in any war. I'm too old for that. I want to go home and go to bed. That's the luxury that we have, the privilege that we have in this country. Not every country has this privilege, man. You trying to take it, make this a third world country or something? I'm not. I lived in a country that was socialist before. I didn't get it because I was a dumb American. Then I finally lived there and was like, man, what is going on over here? Why do the thugs have more rights than working class citizens? It's like trickle up poverty. I mean, it gets deeper too, man. It gets way deeper. How, like, I mean, I could go deeper. I could talk junk about political parties. They're both fucked up, man. I'm sorry. They're both effed up. But the thing is about everyone being effed up is like, we're human. You're supposed to be effed up somehow. Nothing's perfect. People talk about this Charlie Kirk guy. Like, man, he lived by the sword, died by the sword. What, because he said some shit that you didn't like? Or you think he said something stupid? So now you're the judge and juror and you're going to execute him? You? Now you're God? You're God now? That's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's... You think God actually killed him. You thought it was like, yeah, this is like, oh, we finally got this, man. We got it. Like, something good finally happened. Charlie Kirk got shot. Like, he got executed. Got terrorism. We got terrorism in the house. Like, man, like, damn, like something good turned. No, that's the effing devil. That's the devil, man. That's the devil's work right there. Devil's got his fingerprints all over that. This kid threw his life away. He's gonna spend the rest of his life in prison, and they're gonna give him the death penalty. They're gonna throw the book at him. Hold up. They're gonna throw. I mean, I just said, my buddy, one of my best friends, my brother, just got out of prison. Just spent 5 years in prison. Just got out like 2 years ago. He killed 2 people in a car accident. It wasn't like malicious, but I mean, he shouldn't have been doing what he was doing, and it happened, and he served his time. He's telling me stories, man. Like, I didn't even know if I wanted to even talk to him. But I figured I did. He started calling me up and texting me. I was like, man, I really had to pray about it. But in the scriptures it says, something real interesting that it says in the scriptures in Matthew chapter 7. When it talks about like doing good works or doing good for good people and doing good with bad people. Good people do good things for good people, right? And then bad people do good things for bad people. Like, we kind of stick in our groups. Oh, I think you're good, so I'm gonna just do something good for you because I think you're good. You're good. But bad people, I'm not gonna help you because you're bad. In the scriptures, it says not to do that. It says not to do that, man. That's pretty crazy. It's pretty mind-blowing. It's a different whole concept. It says you're not doing anything better than the bad people because bad people help each other. So I don't know. It's deep, man. I think it's deep. I think that's pretty deep. So, anyways, I talked to my buddy. I gave him that man-to-man conversation. I'm glad I did. And I talked to him, talked about God and stuff like that. And I told him, like, now that you're out, he's on parole, and so he's got to keep his nose clean, and he's got to after a year on parole, he'll be on probation for like 5 years. He's got to not get in trouble and stuff. And I was like, well, I'm not. I mean, I was never like a bad influence to begin with. And I was like, but I told him I wanted to give him that man-to-man conversation because we're brothers, man. But like, I forgot where I was going with all this stuff. But saying, like, he was telling me, man, he's seen like a lot. He's seeing people get shanked all day, every day, so many times that he's like desensitized to it. He said he saw a guy get his ear bit off over $1.50 honey bun. And he said it was like, you gotta, like, in this state we live in, it's not even the worst state for prisons and stuff, man. But he was like, you gotta click up with somebody, and you guys gotta kind of have each other's back and watch each other, like, while each other's sleeping. Like, someone's sleeping, you stay awake and you watch over them. So you can never really let your guard down. Imagine living like that. This guy's gonna be like, I mean, he threw his life away. We're talking about the shooter now. He decided what made him, the devil got into his head to make him throw his life away. He was only 22 years old. And the guy he killed was 31 years old. You can adapt this, apply this to like anything, any act of violence. Well, yeah, I mean, you can. It's got context. You got to put it in context, though. Got to put it into context. Definitely got to put in the context, man. Stay out of trouble. I'm about to get off on here. Stay out of trouble. When you think and you feel, and you got to look out, like, for people too, man. Even your friends, man. Got to have your own mind. You got to do your own thing. I remember one time I was about to do something crazy. I was having a moment. And I was like, man, I think something's about to happen. I'm about to do something crazy. And some of my friends are like, hey, you want this knife? You want a knife? You want some of this? Like, I was like, man, why y'all trying to, like, I went upstairs and I prayed about it, and I was like, and then it hit me, like, God gave me the information. I was like, came downstairs, like, why y'all handing me weapons and stuff instead of telling me to chill out? I was like, something ain't right. What happened was they weren't taking me serious. They were joking behind my back when I wasn't around. They weren't really taking, like, what I was going through, my little mental health crisis. This was like 20 years ago, more than that, 25 years ago. But it's a little something. It's a little something for you to, like, put in the context of how people are. When I finally started reading the Bible, hold up. When I finally started reading the Bible 2 years ago, I started telling people, because I'm not the kind, I don't front. People are like, well, hey, what'd you do last night? We're at work, whatever. Oh, man, I was at home, I was reading the Bible. Man, fuck Jesus. F Jesus. F Jesus. Like, that's, my coworkers just started yelling at me, like, F Jesus, F Jesus. And he's driving. We're driving in the truck. Shut up, I'll sneeze. It's like, I looked at him like, I was like, man, you wouldn't say that to no Muslim. I was like, look at you, man. You're getting all in your feelings of Jesus, but that's how you can see. I started seeing the persecution. Once you start telling people, and so then another day, it happened a bunch of times. I just left the church. It was on a weekday, and I was doing this Bible study thing at this one church. I felt really good, and I went to this bar. I shouldn't have went to the bar after that because it kind of dampens the spirit when you start to drink and stuff. But the bartenders, hey, like, oh, they knew me. Like, where you been at? What you doing? Oh, I just came back from church. Been reading the Bible. Like, why you doing that? That's gonna ruin you. Like, I'm telling you that I'm doing something positive for myself, and you telling me it's bad? That's what'll make you think, man. That's the kind of stuff that'll make you think about how people are in the world. And then you look at people, and when you're taking people's advice, you start seeing who they, when we're people, you gotta love them. We gotta love each other. It's not that I'm better than them because I read the Bible, but now my eyes are open. The scales have fallen off my eyes. The scales have fallen off my eyes, kind of. You know what I'm saying? And you start to see, I can trust myself. And not trust myself, but trust in God. The one that won't lead you straight. To not trust in people. People will always let you down. It says it in the Bible. There's a lot of stuff in the Bible. There's a lot of wisdom. It was shown to me. I read it. I understood it. And it was the best thing that I ever did in my life. So, I don't care what anybody says. You ain't going to make it. You want to talk about simulation theory? Damn, there was something I wanted to say about simulation theory. But I got to go. Simulation theory. Yeah, there was something I'm going to say about that next video. But, all right, later.